once again. We're going to go just a little bit further and look at the text now. Isaiah 3.
Isaiah 3:4. And I will give the children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. And the people, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. You go finish.
Okay. And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another. Mr. Lynch realized that once the system he was installing was in place, that it would perpetuate itself because the oppressed people would oppress and reinforce the system by domination over one another in what area of perceived superiority they could find. The lighter skin would perceive that his skin made him better than his neighbor, and thought that he would adopt the behaviors, attitudes, and mannerisms of his oppressor. The educated Black man or woman would perceive that his education made him superior to the uneducated Black man or woman and would adopt the behavior, attitudes, and mannerisms of his oppressor and therefore continue the subjugation of his Black brothers or sisters. Since the Negro female would be lifted to a position of government, supported sustainability, and education, she would come to believe that her man was inferior to the dominant male of society, and this would be further exacerbated by suppression. The Black male's rise in the marketplace, and the media's stereotypical portrayal of the Negro male as sex-crazed and incompetent. Another scripture prediction this condition is found is in Isaiah 3, where it states.
Okay, comments.
That's what we got today.
See, what we have to understand is this is not just a random occurrence. This is a system. It's a system of white supremacy and discrimination that has, by design, created an upside down structure in the Black family structure, which is in turn literally destroyed Black family. You kill the head, the body dies.
Right.
So this is warfare. This is literally a warfare. Every Black man understands this warfare if he's been alive any length of time. That certain opportunities are difficult for him to get into. There's a lot of behavior expected from you if you are even to be given a shot. I remember talking to an older Black man who was trying to school me on why he was able to live in a middle-class neighborhood. And he said that when he went to the bank, he would take his hat off his head and hold it in his hand as he talked to the loan officer. And then I heard you, brother. Yeah, I know that was a kick. That was a kick, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And so this posture, had to be maintained in order for you to even be considered a possible candidate for this money, a possible candidate for any elevation in this system. There has to be this posture. When the sackbut when they blow the sackbut, you got to bow to the king. And see, we had very few Daniels who would not bow because these men, they love their children. And they were also psychologically primed to adopt this behavior. This was the survival behavior of many generations. So nobody shamed you for doing that. Everybody understood this, but We have to understand this is the system that we have to be delivered from
Amen.
in order for us to be Torah,
Mhm.
because that is Isaiah 3. And it's not presented to you as a blessing, it's presented to you as part of our curse. Questions, comments?
Pastor, you talk about the education piece, so much today in our society, in our community, we think that the education make us better than the one that doesn't have the education or the one that doesn't go to school and to get further education. I'm all for education, because one thing I do believe that education don't guarantee you anything, but it can open other avenues. And and we have a serious problem in our community of pushing our daughters to go to college to get education, when it should be the other way around. If anybody in the home needs to be pushed to go to school to get an education to better themselves, it needs to be our sons. So that way our sons stand a better chance in this society, so to speak, to get better employment. Even in my own family, I truly believe that truth be told, I'm the smartest one out of all. I mean, I know I'm the smartest one out of all my cousins. But I chose not to. I chose to do the things that I did. I went to college for a little bit, but I have one particular cousin. He don't have to say it, but I can just tell by his actions he feel, because he went to school and got a degree that his degree makes him so much better than, and that he knows so much better than. And anytime, and because also there are life choices that I made. I can make I was just talking to Brother Sherrod about this in the roundabout way last night. I can make a suggestion of what I think, because our cousins, I'm the oldest, and we're pretty close. We stay in contact, and I can make a comment, man. I think that that we as a family, we need to try and get together, put something together, man, to sustain our future as a family in case something happens, and he'll be the first one to say something negative, where everybody ain't gonna put in the same amount, this and that and whatnot. And it's not about what somebody puts in. It's about taking care of the next generation. But we got to not to go on the tangent. We got to get away from this thing that education once, and our women today feel that if they get education, that that's their government, that they don't need a man anymore because they got an education. I mean, I teach my daughter, I want her to get an education, to go to college so she can better herself. But that education is not what's going to sustain her. What's going to sustain her is marrying and being with a Torah-filled man, Israelite man.
Hey, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Pastor, I got a chance yesterday. I've seen this movie a couple of times yesterday. I really got a chance to watch it with my class, and it's the movie Fences, Denzel Washington. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us have seen it, but yesterday, I really got the revelation of that movie, and it was profound in it, where this man literally is only doing what he knows. If you watch that, if you haven't seen the movie, please watch it. It got a little language in it. It's not all that colorful, but we used to it. But just to see how he is, that character that they have him playing, how he's able to that role function of the man in that home. There was nothing, if I had to look at that movie, there was nothing nurturing about the role that he played. In which we as men don't, but this is deep. We as men never got a chance. Not some of y'all. I didn't get an opportunity to get that. So you grow up in this European culture, not understanding and knowing that that's a need for your family as a nurturer. Most men don't. We were taught boys don't cry, and so you grow up with that mindset that you don't cry. And now here it is, when you need to cry, when you need to be able to express yourself, you can't, because what society has told you. I just want to throw that in there as relates to that role that he played in that movie Fences, that speaks to everything that we're talking about now. You know, his role, as to what his role is in the family, but also there was a lot of stuff that was missed, and it was because of the way that he was brought up. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Like I said, you got to understand that you are the enemy. This is psychological warfare. So anytime you see a man um, that look like us in a role of a father, there will be some type of agenda to diminish that. Either it's going to be stupid or he's going to be cruel. So where the sisters are thinking, I don't want to be underneath that. See, so either way, and then it doesn't turn the hearts of the fathers to the sons and the hearts of the sons to the fathers. It's going to always be a Torah attack on that. And these people that wrote this stuff, they know the Torah.
That's right.
Sister Washington, you got your hand up.
Yes, sir. I was just thinking about how we don't realize that we're playing into that, or how much we played into that Willie Lynch, that program, and working in healthcare for so many years. I've seen on a number of occasions, and I used to be one with that same mindset. You know, where you hear people who, once they finish with school or college and working in healthcare, you know, I've outgrown this guy that, you know, and especially friction or issues in your relationship. Now all of a sudden the things that you used to be able to stand for, now you can't stand for it. I got to get out of here now because I've graduated. In fact, this one coworker that I had, she was upset with her sister-in-law because her sister-in-law, who's in the nursing program, she pretty much told her, she said, when I finish school, I'm going to fire your brother. Basically, I'm going to leave your brother. And she did. She did. And, you know, just thinking about, we don't realize we're playing into that mindset that's dividing and damaging and killing our families. And then when you, years down the line, looking at the destruction that and the dysfunction that's, or the results of the dysfunction and destruction that you've caused in your family, you don't realize, okay, I just played into this playbook. But I see it, and even teaching at the college, a lot of the discussions in some of the classrooms, you know, you start talking a little bit about relationships, though we're far from being relationship experts. But when it's kind of like, you know, of course, you know, sometimes you're going to be in a marriage or in a relationship, you know, just kind of in general, the discussions that sometimes we've had, that basically you're letting them know it's okay when you feel like you've outgrown this certain person. You can't deal with certain things anymore because you've outgrown them. So it's like, wow, you know, we don't see how a mess we're creating, you know, when we encourage it. You know, it's like,
Thank you for that.
yeah.
That's the program. That's the program. And so what we have done is we're still eating from that left hand tree, which has created this mindset that a woman doesn't have a role assigned to her by the Most High.
Yes, sir. And then even
She
I'm
can
sorry.
outgrow that role somehow through another fruit.
Right. And then on the flip
outside.
side of that too, like you were talking about the fornication, how it's so much of a problem. Okay, you're saying that you're not going, I can't take this, I've outgrown him, I don't want this. But then who you messing around with? Because you all know, you know, a lot of messing around going on in those. And so, you know, you take walking away from your covering, yourself on, you know.
Right. Right.
True.
It does lead to that. Brother Wade, thank you for that. The Brother Wade.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Pastor, I just want to touch on what Sister Yolanda was talking about. I've been in healthcare for almost 30 years. And
Mhm.
I could count by one hand how many times the opposite race talked about their husband. But I remember it was a case with it was a guy that I worked with for years, and he got married. Actually, I introduced him to his wife, and so she became a nurse, and he was still working almost the same job in security and whatnot. And she went on to get her degree, another degree. And so one day I saw something that I saw that was very familiar with what I had experienced in my marriage. And when I saw it, I pulled him to the side and I said, "Hey, look here, man. I want to tell you something. If you don't get this under control, you're gonna lose this woman." Um, she was once upon a time one that wouldn't do anything. She wouldn't go out. She wouldn't drink. She wouldn't smoke. She started doing everything. But the one thing I told him was when I started seeing her hanging out with single women, I said, "Look, man, you finna have some problems in your marriage if you don't take hold of this." And so he kind of went by, lethargically and didn't, really didn't take it as serious as I think he should have. Until one day, I had lost my job. I actually lost the job at the hospital, got reinstated, and then so I went to a store and I ended up seeing him. We hadn't seen each other in several years. So I said, "Hey, man, how's things going?" He said, "How's the wife?" I always ask how his wife doing. He said, "Man, we've been divorced for um, a couple months now." I said, "What?"
Mhm.
He said, "Man, you remember what you told me if I didn't get hold of and I didn't check that I was gonna lose my wife?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, she started looking down on me on different things and started saying, how it is." I'm sorry to be so long, but
No,
you
no,
know
take
how
your
it is when you work another job and you start to get better pay and your husband doesn't necessarily come up in his pay, and she started looking down on him because he wasn't coming up with her, and she started checking him on different things and commenting on different things that he started to see that looked like she was undermining him on everything, and yet he still let it went by and did not check it and end up losing his wife to that because she thought that at some point the man that she married and had 4 kids by and built a home with wasn't good enough when she started making more money. And I've seen that in what I've done over these years. I've seen where they'll go to school, make this money, and the same man that put them through school, helped them through school, supported them through school, now it's not good enough for them. And yet I've seen the opposite race. I have not heard it one time in 28 years, one time
That's
from
true.
white people saying that about their husband.
Brother John, I bet you I know who you're talking about too. I
Yes,
bet
you
you I know who
do.
you're talking about because
Yes, you do.
I
Yes, you
bet you I
do.
know. Yep, I saw it.
And it was so heartbreaking because when I talked to him, I said, "Man, I joked about it, but it was a poor joke." I said, "Man, I almost lost, hope in marriage when I seen you go down, because
Uh-huh.
this couple
Yes.
from the outside looking in looked like the perfect couple, and you would not have think that those issues was arising in their marriage, but yet those subtle signs and symptoms was brewing."
Yeah.
And I told him those small little signs. When I first saw it, I said, "If you don't check this, you don't get this under control, you're gonna lose this marriage." And he let those things go by, and she started doing things. And what one thing he did tell me that really was the biggest sign is when she started flying to different cities and different places without him. That's when I knew it was in trouble. My heart broke for him because I saw it, I recognized it, and I saw it, and I tried to diagnose it for him because I knew what I lost in my marriage, and I knew how devastating it was to that family structure and how much I lost in it. So here I am as a concerned brother that loved him and saw some things that I won't, not many of us want to see others succeed in things in life. But I wanted this brother to succeed in his marriage. I wanted his marriage to survive. And I wanted him to be the very one of the very few that started with the same woman, bore the same kids with, and stay with her until they, go to glory.
Mhm.
And my hope in that was to invest as much as I could in explaining to him what I see and what could happen if he doesn't get on top of this, or it may have just went to that way anyway. But I told him, I said, if you don't get and jump on this, if you don't check this, man, I'm telling you, this marriage going down. And he did not take it serious. I know he told me he didn't, and
Mhm.
yet he let it got too far.
Mhm.
And then when he went that far, she started degrading him and started looking at him even more different, because she started making more money.
Mhm.
Thought, she was the breadwinner.
Right. Right.
And then people started, and then on top of that, those single ladies that she was hanging with was commenting and chattering in her ear, telling her things when she was buying tickets and flying the family out and going to Disneyland and going to Atlanta and all these things. So, I just want to share that, Pastor.
Thank you for that, brother. That was enlightening, and it's for real. It's just another example of what bad thinking does.